Presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? Woo. I'm back. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been here, but I am back just in time to go. We're going to Vegas, baby. Vegas, baby. And, of course, just real quick, we are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Roku TV as a part of the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. What's up, guys?
What's going on, brother?
What's up, Philly?
Long time no see. Yeah, I guess I should start it off real fast. I'd like to thank everybody for donating to my event that happened on Saturday. It was a really great event. And I know that you guys hadn't seen me in a little while, but you guys have been watching my videos and all that other stuff. So I really appreciate everybody who donated and came out for a fantastic event. It couldn't have been any better. It really was an amazing event. And it's so funny because, you know, as I get ready for those things, I get like all nervous that is anybody even going to show up? And then everybody shows up and it winds up being such a great time. But so I really wanted to start off by thanking everybody. But that just because I had the event doesn't mean that you can't, there's not time to donate. You can definitely still donate. So please do if you have the means to do so. What's up, guys?
Another week, another day.
You all ready to go?
One more work day. Just got to get through tomorrow.
There you go. There you go. See, and so have you been to any draft at all, Pork Rind?
First one.
Well, it's going to be an experience. It'll definitely be an experience. I would like to say that this is old hat, but everything, you know, every year is a little different.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because it was at a draft in Nashville that I even got to meet True Blue.
That's it.
So, and that's where our budding friendship started from there. You know, just think if it wasn't for, and I think about that draft and all the different things that happened because nobody really knew who I was at all. And the moment I got up on that stage, it was like, or in the inner circle, I geeked out like nobody's business. I mean,
yeah, you did.
I was all over the place taking pictures with everybody, just going, you know, I couldn't stop. The Eagles people were watching me and they were getting nervous because the reason why I was even up there was because they had to have somebody escorted out the previous night because he had a little bit too much to drink and caused a couple of issues. So then now they got me up in there who's all painted up and doing my thing. And next thing you know, I'm like taking pictures of it, and they're like following me around, like, and I'm like, yeah, you don't have to worry about me. Trust me, I'm not. There's no way I'm getting kicked out of here. And it was like immediately I took over the draft. It was like, sometimes I know how to work a room, and I absolutely knew how to work that room, and it was such an amazing time.
That's
And
awesome.
my biggest memory from that whole weekend was, at one point there was this guy who must have been every bit of about 6'6",
Oh, yeah.
375 pounds, who sat down in the Giants section. And I'm me. And I'm like, I turned to him and I'm like, I figured I'm going to start busting his balls. And, I'm just like, hey, I know that you're a closet Eagles fan. I know you got some jerseys in the closet. And he holds up 4 fingers. And I'm like, oh, you got 4 jerseys in your closet. That's what it is. And I start going back and forth. Now, of course, you know how quiet I am. And, the Giants fans start getting
quiet.
Then the Cowboys fans start getting in. And then the Washington fans tried to start saying something, but nobody cares about Washington. So, and literally it was, and we're all going back and forth. You see every camera come running. Like ESPN is all of a sudden coming running to our section because they don't know what's going on. And this security guard, again, was, you want to talk about the one guy who was like 6'5", 350 pounds. I mean, he was just a big dude. That was the Giants fan. This security guard looked like, the big boss man.
Oh, yeah.
And the moment he stood in the middle of that, I said, well, I guess that's done. I literally, just like that, I'm like, well, I guess that's done. And that was the end of it. And it was all fun. It was
all fun and games.
But it really was a blast. And, that's kind of started the whole, hey, Philly sports guys here, and I own this place now.
So he thinks. So no, that was a good time. That was a good time. I was just talking about that with my wife, 2020, or, last year's 21 in Cleveland, how there was nothing really going on. It was just like the event happened and then it went through the stages and then everybody walked away. Yeah. Unlike Nashville, where everybody stayed, partied. Tim McGraw comes out, and this year it's Weezer. So,
yeah, I saw that. Weezer the first night, was it
Ice Cube?
Ice Cube's the second night, and then Marshmallow's the third night. Yeah.
Well, I don't even know who Marshmallow is.
I don't either.
I don't either.
No idea, but I think Vegas is going to be crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
It looked pretty cool watching all day today, or, watching in the background what's going on there. How they already have the Bellagio fountain set up already for the red carpet, and it's going to be even more done by tomorrow, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'll be out there tomorrow, so I'll see it firsthand since I am staying literally across the street.
Nice.
So, and I guess I should ask, I mean, since the stage is going to be on the Bellagio, is that where we're going to be?
No.
Are we going to be like, are we like in the water?
No. No, they have.
Hey, should I bring my swim trunks?
They have the right next to the convention center of Caesars. So they have everything right there set up, and it's like going to be a 300-foot tent or so to keep everything underneath the sun, out of the sun, I should say.
Out of the sun, yeah. That's a good thing. It's going to be hot.
Well, I mean, I know it's going to be crazy. I know before the event on Thursday and Friday, Philly Sports Trips is throwing parties. We're going to have one at Blondie's, which is right across the street from where all this is happening. And then we're having a pool party on Friday, which is which is over by, I want to say it's over by the stadium. I know it was fairly close to the stadium. It's like behind the Luxor.
Okay.
But it was when we had a pool party out there for Vegas when we were playing Vegas. It was the party to be at. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's just going to be crazy everywhere down in Vegas. I mean, Vegas is Vegas in general. I mean, and I should say we're going to an exclusive event on Friday night after the concert. I mean, I'm going to watch Ice Cube for a second just because, I remember him back before he did Friday. The movie Friday, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I figure that's why they have him on Friday. Probably do a little bit of a stand-up. I mean, I'll make sure to, I'm going to keep that out, keep it all PG-13 here.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I expected it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to be celebrating a birthday.
Yeah, I think there's a guy turning 42 on Wednesday. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that too, seeing your post on your.
Yeah, I know it's Christmas in April, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of birthdays.
Yeah,
a lot of birthdays.
A lot of birthdays. 4 out of the 5 are in April.
Yeah. Toucan Dan's already getting ready. I know he's going to be there. I think he's already there.
Yeah,
I think he showed up today.
Yeah,
I'm showing up tomorrow night. So
yeah,
he wanted to get the layout because from last I heard, he was not in the inner circle yet. But if I know Dan, he'll be there. He'll get in somehow, some way. He'll be in there. I was kind of like last year when I wasn't in there. All of a sudden, I came in, and my arrival was announced by every other team when I came in there. And it was, in fact, that girl comes up to us as I'm talking to True Blue, and she's like, "Wow, man, you came walking in, and all of a sudden the room lit up. Are you going to be here on Saturday?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you could help me out, because I had to sneak in to get here." She's like, "You had to sneak in?" I'm like,
he's in the overflow.
Who am I speaking with? So, yeah, luckily I know how to get around. I mean, security's tight, but you got to look like you belong there. And I guess, I can put on my invisibility suit and sneak wherever I need to.
Yeah, I've been reading this past weekend on all the draftees that are coming up, and everybody's mock draft. Everybody has this guy going over here, this guy going over there. You've got, I don't know how many mock drafts, 3.0, 4.0. Tomorrow, everybody's putting out their final, and I'm just like, all this for the number 1 pick, to try and guess the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about that.
Who do you have?
A month and a half of just guessing who's going to be the number 1 pick.
Who do you think is going to be the number 1 pick?
Well, Doug Peterson as well as I do, and he's offensive minded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's got a young quarterback. He's going to want to protect his investment. I'm thinking he's going to go offensive tackle right off the board.
I think he's going to get capital. I expect that the first pick in the draft is going to get traded down to like the 4th or 5th pick. Now, he wouldn't surprise me if he traded up with specifically. Well, I don't know about the Giants, so I think he'd probably trade to number 4 because the Giants are probably also going to go offensive tackle. But I expect, but I think, because I think they go offensive tackle and then I think they go quarterback. I think the Giants are definitely choosing a quarterback with the 7th pick. But I've said that, and I've been criticized all this time. Oh no, there's no way they're going to take a quarterback. But I think that he's going to trade the number 1 pick away to the 4th. I don't know who's number 4. Seattle? Is it not Seattle?
No, I think it is Seattle.
Is it?
Let me look.
I think there's going to be some willing and dealing as well, but you've got 3 great tackles in this draft. So even if they do trade back, to the 4th, he's more than likely going to be there.
Right. That's kind of what I get at.
One of them's going to be there at number 4. So if they switch back,
but I think by trading that number 1 pick, when you do the math on the numbers, when you get that sheet for the draft sheet in terms of what's the worth of the number 1 pick in comparison to the 2, 3, and 4 pick, that I expect that he's going to be able to get like a first round next year too, and get 2 first-round picks next year and maybe like a second or a third this year. And it's going to be worth it for him to do that. So, because I think they only have like 6 picks, 7 picks.
Yeah, that's going to be hard though. He probably could get a second round, but not a first round, not to move back 2 spots.
So it depends on what they want.
So Jets have the 4th pick. Seattle is 9th.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the Jets have their quarterback as well, so they're going to want,
I think Jets go defense.
Yeah, I think Jets go defense as well.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets also trade back. I have a feeling that there's going to be people that are trading up for the quarterbacks.
Jets has 4 and 10. I saw today Pittsburgh's willing to trade up.
And they're sitting at 20?
Steelers are 20, yes.
Yeah, so that's where we're looking at, the Saints, some stuff right there. The dealing that you had with the Saints and the Eagles, I think that's where Pittsburgh's going to step in to try and get up there.
I agree. And I said that was done very purposely.
Yeah, so early
for the Eagles to do this because they were ahead of the Saints both times.
Yep.
Knowing that Pittsburgh could possibly want to jump up because it's possible that the Saints are going to go after a quarterback. And I think Pittsburgh's also going to go after a quarterback. And of course, I've been told that I'm wrong because why would they do that? They got Mitch Trubisky and, they got whoever it was, the other guy that's going to be the backup or whatever. I feel like that there are plenty of different reasons why they're going to want a quarterback. And they don't trust Mitchell Trubisky, although I think Trubisky's going to do really well in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine there too.
But I feel that there's going to be a lot of trades. I think that the quarterbacks are going to run heavy early in the draft because people are going to trade out of those picks, and you're going to see the quarterbacks get in early, and that's going to push everybody backwards, which means that the safety that you think and the cornerbacks that you think are going to wind up getting into the teens.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you've got Detroit sitting there, and they've got Hutchinson sitting there from Michigan already. Yep. So I mean that's a perfect fit. So I don't think Detroit's going to do anything to trade back. I think they got their guy right there. Yep. If everything works out, because if Jaguars go Hutchinson first, then I mean that changes the landscape for a lot of, not too much, but it changes it for the first 10.
I agree. Absolutely agree. Because then Detroit trades out.
Yeah.
I think Hutchinson, I absolutely believe Hutchinson goes to Detroit because it's hometown. It's, for thousands of different reasons, I think that happens.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel that whoever wants to trade to get into that number 1 spot is going to go after Hutchinson too. So, and what's the worth? What's the worth to get him?
What do you think Houston does at 3?
Well, you've got Lovie Smith, and he's defensive minded,
right?
So that's where and Houston is not going to be willing and dealing to get into that first spot. They don't have the picks that they got. They're even lucky that they got this pick with that Deshaun Watson trade.
Right.
So I think they're in an opportune time just to stick where they're at and get the guy that they want off the board, whoever that might be defensively, though.
Right.
Unless, because you got Mills, I believe is a quarterback's name.
Yeah.
That's sitting there, so they might take a quarterback. That might be the first one off the board.
Yeah.
Depending on the new GM. So.
Well, I mean, but from what I don't know. I was thinking that too, but I know they're pretty confident in that kid, so we'll see.
Yeah, he's a second-year player, and I mean, Lovie Smith is more defensive-minded, and I think, he's not going to want to fall out of there. He might even fall back if he wants to get a couple of more picks for this draft, because he's got to build something.
Yeah, they have so many holes. They have so many holes that they got to fill over in Houston. I mean, they have a lot of picks now, don't they?
They got the first rounder back this year, and I believe next year, and I think they picked up second and third
All right. So
of
here,
next year.
right.
They've got pick number 13. They got 3 and 13 this year.
3 and 13.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Matty asks, before the draft, is there any NFC East predictions? Right now, I'll be honest. I think the favorite right this second is
Commanders. Yeah, I get it.
I actually
I can't even say that straight face.
I give a slight edge to the Eagles because I feel that Dallas lost some. The draft is going to tell a lot more, but I feel that with us having the amount of picks that we have in the areas that we have, I give a slight Eagles over Dallas. Just because of what they lost. Now, the draft is going to possibly tell a little different. I still have the Giants 4. I have Washington just above them. My opinion.
Yeah, and the thing is too, the draft is going to come and go, and you still got a great, 100-some players out there that are still, in free agency.
There's a lot of free agents.
A lot of them, and it's such good players too. So.
Yeah.
It's going to be willing and dealing, I think, come time. You're going to see there's going to be a lot of commotions going on in this draft just because of the effect of these last 2 years during the way everything fell into place.
Does Debo get traded?
No. I think he falls into the everybody's saying, of course, everybody's putting the Cowboys and the picture with CeeDee Lamb. If you want to make money, you tell owners where you want to go so that you can get the highest bid, so that you can get the better contract. I mean, I don't see I don't see him coming to the Cowboys, not at that high of a cost. I mean, then you're looking at, well, why did we get rid of Amari Cooper to get somebody even more expensive?
Right.
So I just don't see it. So,
well, real quick, Joe, sorry, we're the NFC East show. If you happen to be in Vegas on Wednesday or Friday night, you could then talk about your Colts. But as of right now, it's NFC East show. I don't know if you saw the sign right in the corner.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you checking in with us, especially since and we got our first question. Where's Sneaky? Sneaky is, I'm going
on special assignment.
Say straight out, he is doing homework. He's doing homework. Got to get his homework done. If he's going to go to Vegas, if you got to get your work done if you want to play. And that's
right.
how that works. And that's how that works. So yeah, he's got some stuff that he had to get done, and I'm laughing. I'm making fun of him, saying he's got to do his homework, but realistically, he's doing his homework. He's got his homework he has to do. So I absolutely, I feel I'm excited for the man who wants to better himself at our ages. So
yeah,
yeah, and then back to Matt Hinckley. Question of the NFC East predictions. The Cowboys are going to come around. We got to rebuild up our offensive line. We lost 2 linemen. I think that's going to be a big part of what's going to be the outcome. But again, you've got a quarterback year 6, I think, as well as a running back, and we've got several other veterans. So I think it's going to come down to the schedule. And I believe once that schedule comes out, it's going to play a big part, especially if we have to play up in the East, which we know we will up in the cold weather.
So here's a question for you that I was thinking about. If given the possibility for a 3rd round pick, would you trade Elliott?
For a 3rd round pick?
Yep.
No.
Clear that cap? So you wouldn't? Would a 2nd round pick do it?
Oh yeah, second round.
Second round pick would do it.
Yeah.
So early third round wouldn't.
No.
Okay. Good
No,
enough. I'm everybody's got a price. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
everybody does. I mean, I'm going to be really interested to see the medical report on when he's coming back from that surgery he had to clean up that knee of his. So,
Maddie.
I like Matt's thinking. I like his thinking.
So you know that he's drinking too much of that water from the river over there in
I need
Chicago.
to start drinking that.
That's good to think. That's good to think that way. But it's not going to happen.
Hey.
Yeah, it's. I would say that is not.
I think you know, even Carson Wentz going into Washington is going to have is going to have a bigger play than the New York Giants because of the GM's decisions during the Giants GM decisions during this draft. I think if they go gung ho like you're talking about drafting that quarterback, that's going to get some organization members upset and where they're going to want to be traded.
Well, and I think that, well, first off, I wouldn't be surprised if they trade Daniel Jones on this draft. Like, because that's what you would do. You would, if you're going to take a number one pick, you know, a first round pick and take a quarterback, you're going to trade Daniel Jones. He's going to disappear, and you're going to get it like for a third or a fourth rounder, or maybe both. You know what I mean?
I mean, they still haven't signed his tender, so that says a lot.
See, and I've been thinking this whole thing. I mean, I've said this early on, you know, and it's funny because you know how I'm always saying that Stephen A is listening to us, and you know he started to listen to me again. He's starting to listen to my other podcasts too, because I was talking about Ben Simmons, and I don't want to bring that up for too much, but he said almost verbatim what I said 3 months ago about the NBA is going to wind up creating the Ben Simmons rule. But I'm going to digress with that. I have a feeling that you're going to hear tomorrow how the Giants are going to take a quarterback at like 5, or I have it at number 7. I think that they're going to do it with their second pick, not their first one, because nobody's going to take a quarterback at number 6. You know, I think that Carolina. Yeah, well, I know that Carolina wants a quarterback.
Carolina could take a quarterback.
Well, they might, but I wouldn't be surprised if. I mean, I know that they would maybe take a quarterback, but I think the Carolina's going to trade down. You know, I believe that the first quarterback is going to go with the Giants. I don't know that you can just draft that quarterback from Liberty.
Malik Willis
with the 6th pick. And I think that the Giants feel the same way. I think that the Giants are going to go with the guy from Pittsburgh.
Pickett.
You know, which is going to screw Pittsburgh, because I think Pittsburgh wants him.
Yeah, because he's another hometown kid.
Right. And you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of staying close to home.
Yeah, and you know, the other interesting things too that's coming out now is the character of a lot of these kids. It's coming out now, reports from, you know, several players on the character and how they carry themselves, and it's not so, you know, from what I'm hearing of some of these guys, it's not so well. So a lot of people forget to pay attention to that part. So, I mean, you got to throw character into these evaluations of these mock drafts on where these kids are going to fall, because some of the stuff I'm hearing about some of these players is not so good.
And you're hearing this. I mean, think about the stuff now that you're hearing about Carson Wentz, and then just some of the things that have been leaked out of the Washington area about Carson Wentz. And I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? The guy hasn't even been in the locker room yet, and they're already talking bad about him. I mean, like, why? What is he doing that's causing that much of a rift? You know, and is it people already reading the book by its cover because they spoke to a few people from Indianapolis? Is his ego that large that he can't do, he just can't make friends, can't make nice with these people. It seems very odd to me that this is all coming about. I mean, the guy's still a human being. You know what I mean? Take the football part out of it. I mean, is he an asshole? I mean, really, is he an asshole? Because ultimately, that's the only thing I could think of.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and that's what the character part is coming out in the draftees. But going back to the wide receiver from Carolina Panthers when he said out on public, social media, no to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
And without even thinking, what if other team players, other teammates are going to want to get this guy? What do you say then? What do you say that he goes to that team?
How about the booty hole guy? That was
Watson.
From the ex cowboy coming right out like he oils his booty hole. How do you follow that guy into battle?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You got these guys that are grown men, and that's what makes it so hard for these coaches, to make the decisions based upon the characters that they're getting. And it's like you've got all the talent in the world, but what are you going to do with that talent once you're here? How are you going to carry yourself? Because you saw it with Deshaun Jackson, how he carried himself, how he upset so many folks. Now it's just everywhere you go. Now you got guys who don't want to be there anymore, and they'll just say, I don't want to be here no more.
Yep.
Well, and what happened? What happened that Debo now all of a sudden says, I don't want to be in San Francisco? Just literally carried this entire team to the, almost to the Super Bowl. But now I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
That he was in Vegas. He's in Vegas, and they're doing the dance.
I saw that.
And he's like, no.
Nope.
Yeah, he's like, no way, man. And that's why these deals, I think, they're going to skyrocket here the way they are. But at some point, you got to make you got to be Bill Belichick.
Yep, I agree.
You're going to have to make those decisions. Hey, I want somebody who's going to come in here and play for what we want them to play for.
Yep. Well, and that I'll be honest, that was the one thing that I was really happy about what the Eagles did last year, is that they went and they got captains of football teams. These guys were liked by their football team, and they went out and got captains. Like the offensive guy, the offensive lineman, Dickinson. He, as hurt as he was a captain on the team. Zach McPherson, even, the cornerback who didn't really get to play a lot, was the captain of his defense.
Yeah.
Those are like those places, those people get voted in by their teams. And they've kept with that same logic. I mean, they brought the guy home from Temple, who's going to be number 7. We're going to have a defensive lineman number 7 because that was his number at Temple. And that was the number he played with when he played at the Link. So I get it, but it seems ridiculous to me that a defensive lineman is going to be number 7. That all being said, the number 7 was used because he was a captain on the team, and that was a number of honor. You were honored to be able to have the single-digit numbers. And those are the types of quality guys that they are looking to try to get. And I hope that they stay with that in this draft, that they've learned their lesson and they says, okay, we want guys who are captains of their teams, because you don't pick Joe Schmo to be the captain of your offense or defense or of the special teams of anything. If he's just a good player, it ain't going to matter. You want a character guy, somebody who's good in the locker room, somebody who's able to lead other guys that other guys want to follow, and that those guys said, you know what, we want you to lead us.
Yeah,
we're going to have you be those guys. So, and that's the one thing that I felt that the Eagles maybe did better than everybody else, because they learned about what happened with Carson Wentz. And that's how that came about. It's like you learned that, and then you saw our season, 2 years ago, where it was just there was no leadership on the team. And they says, well, we're not going to do this again. We're just not going to do this again. We're going to have leadership, and we're going to make sure that people are on this team that want to be here and, are going to fight for each other, at war.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to see my team captains stay for the duration of, for at least half the season. I don't want these guys being, I've got a new captain this week. I've got another captain.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I want to see that gold C on their jersey with our, first captain, second captain, third captain, fourth captain. I want to see that emboldened, that makes the team feel when it's being passed off from player to player, it's like,
it doesn't mean anything.
What does this guy do this week that deserved it as compared to this guy who was just leading us last week?
That's right.
You can't go in a battle every other week with somebody new as your captain.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
and that's the one thing that I feel like that the Eagles did really well this year is that they got people, they drafted people who are able to lead and who are going to fight with the guy next to them for everything.
Yeah. Jay Gruden, that's the one thing that I did like about Jay Gruden's last draft class was he did that. He drafted Cole Holcomb, who was a captain in UNC, Terry McLaurin, captain in Ohio State. He did that. And there's a couple others. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but now Terry McLaurin, I think this will be his third season as a captain for the Commanders. Hopefully Cole will be, a captain this year. But yeah, I mean, it definitely means a lot when there's consistency at the captain spot for sure.
Yeah,
I agree. And it's important. It's absolutely important moving forward to be able to say, okay, this is the captain of our, offense or our defense, and
Special teams,
he's the one. He's going to be the vocal leader. He's got to be vocal. He can't be a quiet leader. He's got to be vocal. He's got to be able to get in other people's faces
during the game.
Yeah. And not have the surge back. Like you think about what happened in Washington last year, where they're fighting on the sidelines. What I mean?
One of those was our captain. Okay.
Well, no, and that's that, but it was the captain that was getting yelled at, wasn't he?
I mean, we're getting our asses beat by the Cowboys. I mean, I think Duran put his finger. They were arguing back and forth. Duran put his finger in his face, and John was like, "Nah, this isn't happening."
Right.
And
there went the swing.
Punch. Yep. So, but I mean, they played together, college ball together. So I mean, they're.
What's up, Tyler? I just saw your I just opened that up.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Derbs, Mr. Derbs.
We'll see you in a couple of days, buddy.
I know Mr. Tyler Derby wanted at number one, he wants Hutchinson. I know he knows that. I just don't see that happening with Jacksonville and Coach Peterson.
I agree. And that's why I think that it's going to be somebody who wants to move up, and it's going to have to be worthwhile, because he's going to have somebody that wants Hutchinson bad enough.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call it the Cowboy effect. And I call it the Cowboy effect because Micah Parsons was such a good player this year, and how he changed around that entire defense.
Yep.
That it's when you have somebody that you think could be that type of guy, it's worth it to have him.
Yeah.
And he's worth maybe 2 first-round picks. So if somebody wants to trade up, I don't think it's going to be Seattle, because I think Seattle needs a quarterback in the worst way. I would say that, whoever's in probably the number 8 spot, or it can't be Miami. Miami doesn't really have a lot of picks to be able to play with and stuff like that. So.
Not after that Tyreek decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's somebody like Micah Parsons that's he is that diamond in the rough at linebacker position. I actually seen him be a captain this year.
Well, and imagine he dropped because of people bapping and saying, "Hey, he's a problem."
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, he went to Penn State.
Yep.
Which is kind of funny, you know what I mean? Because you don't really hear that a lot about Penn State players. And then what had come out, what the word was that came out. I mean, I'm not going to even try to get into
the accusations.
I don't know if it was true or not, but
yeah,
it really was.
I know. It's when you get all that kind of stuff, it just, that's why I'm saying that stuff is coming out now. We look at the kid that fell, when they posted the picture of him indulging in some paraphernalia during draft night.
Yeah.
And he was supposedly the best lineman, and then he drops all the way to
Larry. Was it Larry Tunsil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, he drops all the way back the way he did because somebody was upset, that for whatever reason. And don't be surprised that doesn't happen this go around.
Expect, especially from teams that want the player.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, "Oh, look at this picture of him, doing this wrong."
Yeah.
And it's because they want to get, like Tampa Bay.
Leverage.
Wouldn't put it past Tampa Bay doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's definitely like a Tampa Bay thing to do. It even is a little bit of the Cowboys. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys did stuff like that. Like Jerry Jones, if you spent jail time, you're fine.
You're fine. We've got great lawyers here. We've got great lawyers here.
But it's a shame because it costs these kids money.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, so you better make sure that all the cameras are off. You know what I mean? You cannot show some of the things that happen. You just, when you're out having a good time, I mean, trust me, and I know what it's like because, I go to my living room, which is Dolan's bar. And when I'm painted up, I have to be very careful on who's taking pictures with me and when and why. You know what I mean? So if I'm doing a shot about, and I'm old enough, I'm allowed to drink alcohol. But if somebody wants to show me in a bad light, they're going to be able to do so in a funny picture. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm like very protective. I'm like, all right, I'm off the clock now, and no more pictures, no more camera on me and stuff like that. But people are still shady. People think that they're getting away with something, and I'm a lot more. I'm very perceptive. Like I told this one woman who was taking a picture of me from across the bar, and I approached her. I'm like, listen, I said, this is my home. I come here to drink because if I go home and shower, I'm done for the night. Once I take this stuff off, I'm not going out. I'm home.
Yeah.
So this is my living room.
Sanction.
Yep.
You are taking a picture of me in my living room doing something that I don't want pictures taken of.
Yep.
And I made her erase the picture. And then she's like, well, you're the one painted up. You're the one. You should expect that people are going to take pictures. I do expect people to take pictures, but I expect them to ask me if they're going to take a picture. You don't just go ahead and just try to be all sneaky and then try to defend yourself when you're caught. You knew what you were doing, and you don't do that. And it's the same way with these guys. These guys got to be very protective of themselves.
Yeah.
Because they are the brand. They are their own brand.
They are their own brand.
Right about
and that's
that.
it.
So,
yeah, there's so that and that's the scary thing about where we're at with the with the social media, with however many social media accounts and how many burner accounts that these guys have to create the illusion of what they may not be in a better light. So
right.
That's where we're at. But these teams do their due diligence in researching these guys, kind of like we do, but they have the better tools.
Right.
They have the way better tools.
And anybody can decide to make their own narrative, their own story about whoever they want to. They can show the picture and make whatever story they want to make. And it depends on how believable that is. It's like, I'm just putting something out there. True Blue and I go out there for a few drinks. Next thing you know, somebody's taking a picture of the two of us, and they're saying the Philly sports guy is a Cowboys fan. And it sounds ridiculous.
But people will run with it.
Somebody would run with that, and it's just, it's obviously anybody who knows me knows that I'm not a Cowboys fan. It's funny because my ex came into the event, the mother of my kids, and I introduced her to Jordan, Jordan Mailata, and I'm like, hey, Jordan. I said, this is Amanda. She's the mother of my kids. She's a Cowboys fan. And everybody stopped for a second. They're like, whoa, boo. Hold on. This is the mother of your kids? How did that happen? So, it's a funny story because she met me during hockey season and she was a Flyers fan. So,
what's up, Fernando?
When September came, she was already very pregnant, and then she tells me that she's a Cowboys fan. I'm like, what?
That's the first question you ask.
Flyers were doing well.
Yeah.
So we were Flyers fans.
We're going to be playing you, Fernando, this year. We'll see who's a fan of who when we're done.
Yeah. There ain't nothing I'm tightening up except my belt when my pants are on.
Well, I'm telling you that the one thing that still boggles my mind is the Carolina Panthers screaming their slogan and the Tennessee Titans screaming their slogan at each other. That's just, if you don't know the slogans, look them up, but they go back and forth at each other all the time.
I think I should know the Panthers one. It's something like pound something, right?
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. Tighten up. Keep pounding. Tighten up.
Yeah, Nashville. When that was going off, I was just like, "This is priceless." I mean, this is literally priceless.
Only in the NFL.
Only in the NFL.
But so, do you have an expectation on who your team is going to pick in the draft?
Washington's before us, so
yeah. I don't know. I keep reading. It could be, what's his name, Hamilton from Notre Dame, or it could be Drake London from USC. It's one of those
wide receiver.
Yeah. But I think, I don't
think he'll be there.
I don't think he'll be there. I think Jets might swoop him up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. For my side, if Green's still there from A&M, I think, that's a legit choice for us to be taken at the 24 spot if he's there. I think there is going to be some willing and dealing for the Cowboys, depending on who's taken. Like I said, that offensive tackle is going to be big for us. So, we might even move up. I don't want to give away no first rounds, of course. So I'd be more than happy to sit at 24. I think there's enough players in this draft, especially at that position. Offensive line.
Offensive line is heavy.
Yeah, very heavy. Yeah. So I could see us sitting at 24 and settle with what we get. There's so many good players out there.
Me personally, I think that we are, in our first pick, if we don't trade back, I have us. Yeah, everybody keeps talking about Jermaine Johnson from the defensive end from Florida State. To be honest, I don't think he's big enough. I personally want Jordan Davis.
Well,
now I don't know if he's going to make it to 15. That's the thing. I think that he actually probably goes somewhere around 10 or 12.
Oh yeah.
But I'd love to see him fall. Right, because it actually shows. I saw 3 mock drafts where he was after the Eagles. He was chosen after the Eagles. I'm like, damn. I don't know, 6'6", 340 pounds, runs a 4.78 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
That's a lot of movement right there.
I want that guy. They
You
don't
wanna
make
get hit
them like
by
that.
No.
They don't make them like that.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at the highlight reels of him this past weekend. Yeah, that big of a man moving that fast.
Should not be allowed.
It's unfathomable. It's just like, should I stay or should I go?
Yeah.
Well, and then on top of that, like so, and then I think about like what he would be going up against in practice, and realistically, he'd be going up against like Jordan Mailata and things like that. Like who's another 6'8", 365. I mean, and that's talk about clash of the Titans there.
Yeah.
Tighten up over there, but they're going to be on the Eagles' offensive line and defensive line. That's what I'd love to see. So I again, it's. You know,
and the thing too, looking at this past weekend, I was just relaxing, watching NFL Network, and watching the past drafts from from the old back in the late 70s, and they just kept showing the progression of years, and you get to 84, 85, and then you keep going 86 and 87. But the thing that always was relevant to every draft was that you had these players who were taken high who didn't succeed, but those second and third rounders always progressed and achieved.
Yep.
So that's something that a lot of people have to remember. Don't worry about that first pick. I mean, it's the second and third and fourth rounds are going to be more of an interest for you, especially at the position players. What exact position are you taking at that number?
Yeah.
So
Thursday's
that's what
the
everybody needs to
fanfare.
focus.
Friday's the big day.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
how I look at it. Thursday's the fanfare. Friday's
Yep.
the big day. Friday, you can't fail. Thursday, the Eagles have 2 picks, so it's a little different. They have to hit 50%. You have to have one that does pretty well.
Exactly.
If both fail, it's gonna show up too badly. One pick failing isn't a big deal if the second and third round picks succeed.
And the other thing too is just like when we drafted Taco Charlton in front of JJ Watt, it was like you made that mistake, and you look back on it and because one coach overrid the other, and time does tell on these drafts. So
I could say the same thing for 2 years in a row. We had JJ Ortega Whiteside, and DK Metcalf was on the board, and then you have Jalen Reagor, and Jefferson's on the board. So there is hits and misses all the time.
And the biggest thing when you're reviewing and looking at film and all these guys, you got to look at these players from the position that they're playing. That's how the scouts are going to work. From the position that they're playing, how fast are they? The techniques, the bend, the footwork. Most people are surprised to find out how good of a lineman's footwork is from the time that they pop back to protecting for pass, or when it's a run, how good their footwork is going forward. A lot of people just see the upside of the how big a person is. I'll give you a good example. Stepnoski from the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl era. He was our center, small guy, but pounded a punch. His footwork was so great. That's what made him a leader on that team.
That's Jason Kelce.
Yeah.
That's what makes Jason Kelce such a great, which makes him almost a Hall of Fame center. I would say he's a Hall of Fame center because he's been great for so long.
He's an Iron Man. Yeah, he's an Iron Man.
He's been great for so long. But he's only like 270. I wear his pants. I'm serious. Those are his pants that I wear when I'm
Are you?
Yeah, they're Jason Kelce's pants. So I mean,
not a jock strap, just his pants.
Yeah, exactly. And I paid a lot of money to get in his pants. So, but literally, I'm 240, so it's not like I'm a small guy in general. You know what I mean? So don't think like, hey, this skinny, Philly sports guy. I'm 6 foot 240. So, but he's 6'2", 265, 270. You know what I mean? He's not much bigger than I am.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It all comes down to footwork, and that's a lot of people are looking for the glitz and glamours of scouting these guys. You gotta look at how they work. Their work ethic is a huge one.
Mhm.
So just because you have the highlight reels on ESPN and all this other stuff during college game week doesn't mean anything when you're coming to the NFL. You have to make something of yourself. You have to show it. And I think this week is going to be, it's going to be fun for these teams, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of letdowns for a lot of fans across this league.
Oh, I can believe that. Well, and as we're talking about offensive line, the one thing that I could say that because I've watched and I've learned a lot about how Jordan Mailata, who went from rugby to now playing offensive tackle, and he learned both sides of the ball, where that's a really big deal now too. You have to have the footwork both sides. You can't just do it because we have another offensive lineman that can only do one side.
Yeah.
And that if you have somebody who gets hurt, you have to be able to be flexible. And that's what teams want now. They want the flexibility of being able to say, okay, all right, he's able to get moved over to the right side or the left side.
Yeah, he's able to be center. He's able to be guard. He's a swing tackle. He can do this. And Connor Williams, good for him. He's in Miami now, but I think, for as much as they wanted him to move, that's where all our penalties came from, was because of that situation that he was put into. When you start moving these guys around, if they're not comfortable, what's the first thing they're going to do? Hold.
Right.
So that's being smart, being on top of it. It's okay, but you got to remember everything else that comes in between.
Yeah,
exactly correct.
Have you guys seen? I just saw something come across my phone about the Darren Waller possibly being traded to the Packers.
No. Just came across the wire, huh?
Well, I just got on Instagram, and first thing I saw was, Packers are interested in trading for Darren Waller.
Go figure.
Yeah, there's like I said, there's still 100 free agents out there. So if we don't get our there's still some to choose from on the outside at a cheaper value, at a better, overall, who could come in and be effective immediately.
No, we shall see. And you get in early on Wednesday there, True Blue?
Yeah. I'll be there early.
When do you get in there, Pork Rind?
I get in at 12, but I think Freddie is getting in like an hour or two before me, and then we have to wait for a few people, and I think the last one gets in at 2. So
Freddie,
that's my roommate. This
Ass finger Freddie. Yeah. So, are you guys ready for your poker game? We're going to be playing some poker. That we talked about it. I know that you guys haven't said it much, but we are definitely going to be playing some poker.
I haven't said it at all.
We got. It should be a quick game then, because I figure I'll spank you guys pretty quickly, and it'll just be.
I figured as well.
Yeah,
but
it's going to be an interesting one. I think for all the fans that are going to be attending, I think they're going to have a lot of fun. First time attending, I think you're going to have even more fun.
And it's your birthday.
I know.
What happens in Vegas
never happened. Hey, I will tell you this though. I will get you a beer. Oh, that's right. You don't drink.
I don't drink anymore. Yeah, no.
So you get a juice.
You don't drink?
Nope.
Oh.
See, that's how we save money.
Wow, it is a big way of saving money. So
trust me, definitely.
I figure we'll figure out other ways to spend it.
I'm sure we can figure that
out. Breakfast. They serve breakfast all the time, and I love breakfast. I like breakfast for dinner lots. So
That's why you roll the dice. That's why you roll the dice.
That's
well,
it.
listen, just to let everybody know, we are going to do a show on Wednesday. Once we're all there, it's going to be the first time that the NFC East show is going to be together all in one spot. So we are definitely going to put on the cameras and do that for a little while. Spend an hour out there just letting everybody know what's happening. May do it right on the strip, but yeah, and then maybe also on Friday if we can make it happen. But anyways, as always, thank you for joining us, and we will see you later this week down from Las Vegas, Nevada. And as always, go Birds!
How about them Cowboys?
Take command.